How do?
How do?
Back we are, Patrick, or Mr. Cullen, as a lot of you guys will know him. Fire away,
Mr.
mate.
Mr. C, wasn't it? Mr. C.
Crack on. So you're talking about that?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go on my PE course, so at the time I'm learning things like gymnastics. I mean, I'm 32 years old and I'm vaulting, I'm doing floor exercises. I'd never even done it at school, but you know what? I was half decent at it. Glenn said to me, he says, you know, you're very good at gymnastics. I was quite supple, and I mean, flexibility and all that was brilliant. I was doing the training for the course with my mucker called Steve, and he was wooden. He couldn't even get over a box. That's how wooden he was. But we both trained together because we were both going down to Lillyshaw. And what happened was...
What's Lillyshaw?
Lillyshaw is the training academy for PEIs.
Oh, yeah.
Down in Staffordshire. It's where the 1960s England team did the football training.
Oh, yeah.
It's a massive training academy down there, not just for football. You've got rugby, you've got gymnastics, you've got everything down there. Hockey, hockey for the women and the men. And when we was down there, they was building a thing for the military. No ex-servicemen, amputees and things like that.
Oh, what, like a rehab place?
A rehab, that's the word. It's a rehab clinic. And I've been down there since. It's massive now, especially with the Iraq and the Afghanistan conflicts going on. A lot of lads were going there. So it's sorry, you going to say something then?
No, I'm just...
So we're training up, and we got to understand as well is you had to do... Glyn made us do it like a logbook. How your day went, what you done today in the gym. He'd go away and he'd say, right, what I want you to do is learn up on this or learn up on that. Football refereeing and what have you.
So had spaces, just to get it right then, has spaces become available at Manchester?
What happened was I was showing interest. So what you could do then in them days, you could go down to Lillyshaw if he was recommended, which was down to Glyn.
Yeah.
So Glyn thought you were pants, you were shy, you weren't going anywhere. That's all changed now.
Right.
If you want to be a PI now, you could do it online and go down Lillyshaw, do it yourself.
Right.
You don't even have to go to the PE department.
So you're actually doing the training, expression of interest before a job. There's no job for you.
There's no jobs at this present time, but I'm training because I'm saying to myself, and I said to the wife, I said, listen, if I can get to become a PI, I'll stay in the job. There's a possibility we'll have to move. And she said, I'll do whatever you want. So we'll up sticks and we'll go and live wherever to become a PI, because what I was obviously seeing then was a different world as a PI, and I liked it. These guys are racking around the prison tracksuit order. Tracksuits. So
which straight away.
Oh, come on. I'm not being disrespectful, but as a jailer, and I was a jailer, stood on a landing with a pair of pit boots on, what they issue you with.
Yeah.
It's like fucking Frankenstein boots.
Yeah.
Shiny pants, so in summer your bollocks are sweating like fuck.
Yeah,
sorry about that, people. A shirt on, you know what them shirts are like. So
I always used to wear a t-shirt.
Oh mate, yeah, because they sweat, don't you? You perspire and all that lot, and then you got a clip-on tie to finish it off. Clip on like that. So this time of year, you know what I mean, you stood there at landings, you might be tie off under your top button. You might get some awkward SOP or where's your tie?
Yeah.
Well, see, my pocket's 50 degrees today. Not BST, but it's summertime. Get your tie back on. Yeah, put your tie back on. But when I'm walking around, I'm seeing these fellas in summer now. I'd say now them PIs at Manchester be walking around with shorts on.
Yeah.
Shorts, you might feel. Why shorts? Because you get issued them. Baseball cap, you got issued them. I always used to wear mine because I'm bald as a badger. Yeah, I always wore my baseball cap because I'm bald. T-shirt, trainers. Now we used to get an allowance, I think 120 quid a year for trainers. Now they used to say PIs are thick as pig shit. Well, hang on a minute, I'm getting 120 quid a year for probably 2 per trainers.
Who says they're thick as pig shit?
Well, everyone used to say that's what we were. We were numpties. Some people.
While he's saying about being numpties, the PEI who messaged me, what's the thing with crayons? He said don't mention crayons. I'm
not sure on that one. I mean, we were a bit more modern. We had what's called a smart board, but you use special pens for them. Well, I didn't. I used to get people to do it for me, and I'll get onto a great story about that if I can later on.
You can get on and talk about what you
want.
But
like what they're saying, crayons is because it's for kids, isn't it?
Yeah.
For babies.
Is that what? But right, look, you know what? When you see your job, on the whole, you used to look happy doing something you like doing.
Oh, mate.
But it wasn't something that appealed to me.
No, because what you got to understand is, or people got to understand is, no, it wasn't that.
No.
To be a PEI, you had to be sport orientated.
Yeah.
I mean, if you racked up in the PE department and you had nothing about sport or what have you, then what the fuck are you doing there?
Yeah.
And that never happened at Manchester. But there were people trying to get in the PE department when I was leaving. Do you know why they're trying to get in PE department? Because they'd had enough at landings.
Yeah, because they couldn't deal with people.
Well, and again, I always remember Glyn saying to me, listen, if you want to be a PI, you'll be a PI within 5 years. After 5 years, forget it, because it's a second thought. Now, I remember 2 lads, and no disrespect, good lads, I got on well with them, at Manchester. They came in to be PI. They didn't really want to have much to do with us. They were just trained to be PI, and they became PIs, but they'd been in job 18, 20 years apiece. Well, I'd be saying, hang on a minute, you've been in 18, 20 years, now you want to be a PI? Well, really, what you're saying is you just want to be a PI because it's getting you off the landings.
Yeah.
It was the same with dog handlers.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an art being a dog handler. It wasn't a case of walk around with a bleeding dog on a lead. It was an art, you had a passion for it.
I think for a lot of people, it's an escape route, isn't it? Because
it is now.
Because it started getting really bad, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I can only talk about my experience as a PI and how it was, and it was an absolute pleasure. There wasn't one day where I didn't like being a PI. I might not like certain things what were happening in the job, changing whatever, or the way some people thought they were better than me. All right, but that doesn't bother me anymore.
In the gym, did what were happening still affect you? I don't mean like it was affecting your job. I mean, towards the end, my last couple of years, it was a drain. Talking to everyone was a drain. Everyone's talking about the pensions. Everyone's talking. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone used to talk about the pensions and when they're retiring, and it's only when you come out of the job you never think of that. I'm scared of getting older, but when I was in the job, we was always going, I'm done at 60. Got my pension.
You were wishing their lives away.
Wishing their lives.
But do you not think a lot of people also? I got the feeling it was almost like they were trying to reassure themselves. So they're saying to me, "I've only got 7 years left, and I can get my full pension."
That's right. It's a
and
culture.
I'm thinking, fucking
it's
hell,
a culture
7
you're
years
in.
is a long time.
But don't forget, we're all part of it. And it's only when you leave and you sit back and on reflection, you say, "Fucking hell, I was wishing my life away till 60." But I'm now thinking, Jesus. Excuse me, I'm 57 next year. I don't want to be 57. I've got my grandson, I'm bouncing off the little geezer, and another one on the way. And I want another 30, 40 years on this planet. But because you're in that culture and everybody thinks the same, everybody's on the same hymn sheet, that's what you talk about.
So 2012, when they had VEDS, voluntary redundancy,
early redundancy package.
That took a bit away of positivity, didn't it? Because a lot of decent staff left.
Lost a lot of decent staff.
You know, like Jimmy, I could see him, use him again, just for 10 minutes on passing and have a chat, and it'd lift you.
Yeah.
Some of that went then, didn't it?
Well, ironically, like I said, I put in for VEDS. I was the only one in the department who put in for VEDS. And I told them all, I said, listen, I'm done, I've had enough, I want to move on. So I put in for VEDS, and I always remember, because we was classed as a specialist grade, they wasn't giving, it hadn't come to us yet. And when it did come, it was later after all the normal jailers had gone. Yeah. So it was like, ka-ching, light bulb moment.
Got some more if you want some here.
We've lost a lot of experienced staff here, but there's only me put in for it in the P department, and there was a girl called Bev on the dogs. They were class as specialists. She put in for it. So we got talking and said, well, fingers crossed, we'll both get it and we're gone. Anyway, I get an email and it says, sorry to say, Mr. Cullen, you've not got your VEDS. So I got an interview with the governor. Do you remember that governor we had? He brought his dad in. I think it was he's a dickhead from London. Smart as a carrot, smartest bloke I've ever seen, but he was a bit of a Lex, weren't he, with Sheilas, with women.
He's the governor who got led off the premises in handcuffs by the police, isn't he?
Is that the one?
I'll tell you what he did, Pat. I'd heard about him. I was on the healthcare when he brought his dad on.
Right.
You know, in your head, you know me, I'm not rude to people. If I see someone on the street at night, I'll say, all right, or how you doing? Especially women, it makes them feel comfortable. He was walking up to me. I'm on Wylanding outside office. And I was going to say morning, Gov, and I didn't.
No.
He stopped opposite me. In my personal space, looked me like this, up and down. Yeah? Shook his head and then went in office. In my head, I'm thinking, who the fuck?
Oh, mate. I never forget. He come to the gym once and he had us in the classroom and he talked to us. I don't know what the debate was about. And he looked at me and he goes, do you need to go to the toilet? And all lads started laughing. I thought, saying, I'll fucking get your head lock in a minute, mate, and I'll fucking knock you out. But I went, what you talk about, Governor? He said, oh, you look as though you need to go to the toilet. And people might laugh at that, but I find that insulting. And it's only when I went out and I said to my mate, John, I said, John, am I right in saying that? Is he taking piss? He said, Pat, he's taking piss. He was obnoxious. And when I went for this interview, I said, listen, Governor, I was like, not begging to. I said, Governor, I want to leave. There's only me in the department. You can get somebody else. No, you're too important to me. Listen, I'm busy now, he says, so I've got important things to do.
Was he the one who had the yay or nay say on Veds then?
Yeah.
Some of it.
Well, he could have overridden it. He could have gone on the phone.
He could have given it you.
He could have got on the phone and said, listen, I've got him and I've got her, let him go. I can let him go. Because you could get another PI or anybody showing of interest. Anyway, that didn't happen, so that was the Veds thing. So that put me on a bit of a downer. But going back to where I'm training to become a PI, me and my mate Stevie I didn't know quite well at that time. Stevie was what's called a sports and games officer. Don't you remember them when you was in? Well, they used to have them in the P department. Worked there all the time, but they were just jailers. But they weren't PIs. They weren't getting paid for it. They wore blue tracksuits. But
so what did they do?
Well, they assisted the PIs.
Oh.
But they got rid of that grade. So when they were getting rid of the grade, they said to Stevie, listen, you're going to become a PI, you're going to become a jailer again. It's up to you. So Stevie being right, said, well, I don't want to go back on landings. So...
You know what?
Well, you know him, don't you?
Yeah, he's a funny lad.
Oh, proper Mancunian. That guy, and he probably watched this video, was an absolute brother to me, like Jono. But Stevie will tell you straight. I said to Stevie, what made you join prison service? Well, I was on dole for 10 years. And then I seen this advertisement in paper, so I thought, I'll go for that. And that's what he did. Otherwise, he said, I'd never worked.
But last
on landing, you remember on K-Wing Gym? Yeah. I had him all sign written by that lad.
Oh yeah, you did. I saw
and
them.
One of it, I had to put on it UB40.
Yeah, I asked him what it were.
That was Stevie, lazy bastard.
Last time I saw him, a Scouse lad we both know. It was his 40th. In Liverpool, hotel for night.
JC.
He was in the same hotel as us, so I'm just coming out with our missus as he's coming in.
Right.
It's when my book had just come out.
Right.
He went down on his knees, he's like this.
Oh, yeah. Great.
I said, wait, get up, you dickhead.
Great fella.
Funny.
His wife's lovely, Jackie. Fantastic couple. And Jono and Lizzie, great couple.
Do you know what? He's just a nice man, isn't he?
But what people are going to understand is these people I needed around me.
Oh, definitely. Positivity,
like
mate.
You say, positivity, characters, strong characters, get your day done, get it done in the right manner, and everybody goes home happy.
Yeah.
And that was all about the P department. But like I say, we went down to Lillyshaw, and I'll never forget it. We was in this classroom, we'd done the 4 days assessment, and this guy's us. Has anybody got sponsorship? Because you had to get a sponsorship then.
What's that mean?
Well, basically, the governor will sponsor you to go away and do your 6-month course back to Lillyshaw.
The governor?
6 months, yeah. Or, I mean...
6 months?
Well, was it 6 months, 4.5 months, something stupid like that. But they pay for you. Because don't forget, you're living down there, so they've got to pay for your digs at Lillyshaw, they've got to pay your wage, and obviously you're not providing them with a service because you're away from the nick. So Stevie sticks his hand up and said, yep. I looked over, I says, what are you on about? You got sponsorship? That'll be me, he says. So, but the good thing is we both passed the assessment, because some people failed it. I mean, it's quite an intense assessment for 4 days. You never slept. You know, you're doing certain things. It was all about getting out there with your peers.
Is it like army?
Well, it's
similar,
but a lot of it was, if you've got the balls, excuse my French, to stand out there in front of you, this is in front of your peers, potential PIs, and teach. And they say, right, there's I can't remember the name of it's like a piece of wood, like a broomstick. There it is, pick it up, do a session with them. So you'd have another 20 sticks there, pick them all up, and you do a 10-15 minute session with them, and you're being assessed. by the instructors down there.
So you didn't know what were coming?
You did it in it to a degree, but you didn't know how it was going to come. I mean, I never forget it. We had to do, what's it called now, where you're on and off a box and all that lot.
Oh yeah. What, like step up?
Step ups and all that to all this music. And we had this female assessor. And because I was wooden and Steve were wooden and half of the other lads were wooden, we wasn't really getting the motion going, was it? And she didn't like that. But all the girls who were on it, they're kicking it and all that lot, throwing the backsides about. And but she said to me, she says, "You've not got a lot of mobility, have you?" I said, "Well, I'd agree with you on that because I've never done steps before, step class, but I can improve. I can go back to Manchester." You know, bullshit.
Well, I'm just thinking you taking.
Yeah, but she's the boss.
Taking K-wing.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting them all on.
You mean we had to do that course and never once did it when I went back. Not my bag, not my stuff.
Do you know what I'm thinking, me? The length of training you're doing to be a PI, it sort of makes a bit of a joke of the like 9 weeks bullshit prison officer training, doesn't it? Just in a class doing homework and shit like that.
I don't know. I really don't know, because at the time when I did it, I thought it was the right thing.
No, I don't mean that. I'm not saying that. Do you think it's like, well, all right, I would say, before me and Lee chatting, specialist jobs working on a landing, other jobs, it's hard working on a landing, innit?
Yeah.
But now you're telling me, I bet it's changed now though, the training you had to do, you know, have this selection, the training.
Don't do it.
Yeah, a lot of people are dropping out, aren't they, and not doing that to get your job.
Well, it's not that they're dropping out. The process is totally different. If you want to be a PI now, like I said, these two lads, and no disrespect to them, they didn't come to the gym and speak to Andy and say, "Listen, we want to be PIs." They came to the gym and said, we're going to be PIs. I remember one of them looking on a video, and on this video it shows you what to do for P-Select. So they never come for us for advice, because we could give them sound advice, we could give them, you can pass on our experience to them, but they weren't interested in us, because don't forget, they've been in 18, 20 years. Who are we? Like that. But do you know what? They went down and passed the P-Select. Now, I know back in the day, we use that word, like with Glenn would have turned and said, "No, you're not doing that," or they won't have passed it, because that's how it was. It was like the army, like you say. And I, being an ex-soldier, even now I would encourage, you know what I mean, not politicians, because they're a bag of shite, aren't they, that the military should be involved in correctional service, i.e. prisons.
Do you mean, have you ever seen Bad Lads Army?
Yeah.
What do you think to that?
Well, again, I don't think you get away with that to an extent, because I always remember we used to have the boot camp at Forest. Do you remember Thorn Cross? Yeah. That was a boot camp, and kids volunteer for that. But when they were only young offenders, but they said, if you want to go to Thorn Cross on the boot camp, these are the rules and regulations, so you will abide by. And it was military.
What did they get out of it though?
Oh, they
going for it.
Oh,
was it a different
world? It was like going to Glasshouse, then Colchester. So they were treated like soldiers, doing drill duties, but they were doing education, but they were getting up in the morning, making their bed.
So it's very, very structured.
Very structured.
Which
you know
I would
what?
think they'd want.
Not many of them return back to a normal location.
There you go then.
Because it worked. But I heard you talking to, I can't remember it was about, talking about national service. Not in the world, not a diddly. There's no way would I turn around and say to, no disrespect, the average 16 to 20 year old now, you do national service, because one, they're going to resent it. Yeah. And if you make somebody do something they don't want to do, then you're going to have mither. And then you teach them how to use weapons. Now, let's be honest, the culture out here now, with these gangbangers and whatever, it's three things: stabbing, shooting, i.e. Uzis, Glocks and what have you. I mean, you never hear them having a good punch up. No. It's all that. So if you teach, not all of them, because some kids would love it, national service, but you taught them how to use a weapon, they'll think, jolly, I know what I'm doing now, forget a stoppage.
So what about the like boot camp type thing, if that were possible for
I would definitely,
prisoners?
Adult and
volunteer.
Young, it's got to be volunteer. You can't turn and say you're going to a boot camp, because it's, am I? No, you're not. But it'd be volunteer. You'd have all the rules and regulations. You'd have it all there, written down. They sign a compact, and this is what happens. So you're getting up at 6 o'clock every morning. You're going to bed at 9 o'clock at night. You probably get a radio after 6 weeks. You you can probably send an email once a night. I don't know, but I'd have it somewhere where the military are involved.
And they get something from it as well.
And they get something from it, but I'd educate them as well. And then it's all a win-win situation. But let's be honest, we've all got these. Yeah. These are very important to a lot of people these days. That's the way people communicate. You see people with heads down in the phones.
Yeah.
Is it going to work? I don't know. I think it'd be more the majority, the minority than the majority who would do something like that now. Because it's a different world. It's a different world we're in now with the youth of today. And I'm not disrespecting you because some cracking kids out there. But the ones who are getting in bother, if we went to young offenders now, and I'd probably say out of a wing, you'd probably get 2 of them.
Who volunteer. 2
volunteers. So you're never going to change.
What we're doing now definitely ain't working, is it?
No.
The people who are working with young offenders who I speak to now, and juveniles and that, just rat shit. Even there's a young lad I'm going to interview, he's 22, just done 5 years, sort of juvenile. He says it's just dog eat dog, Miss Samworth. It's just shit.
The sad thing is, I used to talk to young offenders, and it was a career path going to prison. His dad had been in, his granddad had been in, so he was in as a young offender. And the next thing, you see him rack up at Strangeways.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, son, I remember you. Was it at Farms? I do, boss, I remember you. Oh, hell, what are you doing back in? You mean, it's like, say, it's a career path. And that's what you'll get. I mean, I think a lot of inmates will admit that. And I think you mentioned it before, that why would you want a young lad to go to work and earn $250 a week before tax when he can earn $1,000 a day driving around? And it's not right, but it's your thinking mode, isn't it? It's the way you're thinking. I've earned $1,000 today, got a nice car, I'm happy days.
Well, yeah, everything's changed like that, you know. Me, when I was 17, I got my first job, my first pay packet, I was buzzing. It's not like that now, is it?
It's not like that now, but what's the prison population? About 70,000?
No, it's more than that. I would guesstimate at minute about 85. It was as high as 90-ish.
So what is that in percentage of the British population? It's nothing, is it?
I think they have the highest percentage in Europe in this country locked up.
In Europe, yeah.
You know, per 100,000 population or whatever.
But again, if you actually lock people up for locking up, and there's a lot more should be locked up, because it takes a lot to lock someone up now, doesn't it? Lock.
Well,
they go to court, they go to magistrates, they go to Crown, and then they get community service or whatever. And some of the offences should be a lockable offence.
There were a lad other week walked from a magistrate's court, I think he was 18. They were a copper, female copper, had had her head shaved to put stitches in her head. So he'd assaulted her with something. Yeah. She got stitches in her head. Yeah. And he walked out of magistrate's court with like community service or something. So.
Well, there you go. Is the system working?
No, of course the system don't work anyway.
Well, don't forget when you look at it deeper, and I'm not interested anymore, but you look at the people you keeping employed, High Court judges, MPs, they're on big money. They're sat there in
legal profession.
It's
how much does that
money.
make out of prison?
Absolutely. And until come the day when, the revolution, as you say, which I think is coming, then things aren't going to change. And that's where you've got your divide.
Why are you talking about that? If you dismantle prison system now, so the people who do prison canteen prisoners, they're making a big packet out of prisoners.
Yeah. Private company.
The private phone companies are making a lot of money out of prisoners. The Strangeways maintenance department that used to be employed by Strangeways, he's taking a massive chunk of Strangeways' budget, and that's all the prison. So everyone.
Do you know what? I remember when I was at Strangeways, we had a governor, and I'll tell you his name. He's called Sheffield. Fantastic fella.
We were there when I went. Oh, he knew me because
he knew everybody. He knew everybody by the first name. That was the kind of guy he was. But he had a works department there, and he employed people to come onto the works, i.e. civvies, to be part of the gardening party, because the place was an old Victorian jail full of shit, with pigeons and everything. And within 12 months, he transformed that prison into a lovely, environment to work in. but he gave people work. And like I say, it was a proper works department. All them people work for the government. I mean, they were part of the public sector.
Well, a lot of tradesmen, weren't they?
Oh, of course they were. Joiners, plumbers, you name it, everything. And it was, you could tell it was a happy place to work. And with the staff as well. And he was fantastic, that geezer at Sheffield. And I remember once he pulled me, he said, Pat, can you do me a favour? Go round the prison and find out how many ex-military we got in this prison. I said, right, Governor, no problem. And I want them.
Is that staff or?
No, inmates. And I want them in the chapel on Sunday, such and such a time. So I went on every cell, on every wing, and find out who were ex-military. There's another guy with me called Keith Gobbier. I don't remember Gobbier.
Of course I do.
Yeah, good
My
old
father.
Keith. Yeah,
used to call him Father, me.
Well, I think they used to call him Sergeant Major or something like that.
Yeah.
Or the Colonel. And he was
a nice man.
ex-old Kingo.
Nice man.
And he helped me. And we got all these ex-military and we brought them into the chapel, sat them down. And Sheffield brought, I don't know who they were, brought these military people in. And basically they were trying to find out why they was in prison. And a lot of it was related to what had happened in the military careers.
Yeah.
Not just Army, RAF, Navy.
Yeah.
Now, that's a massive thing, that now. Because people are suffering for
they're not settling, are they?
PTSD and all that. And that's what these lads were suffering from, but it wasn't recognised then. And hats off to Sheffield, because he showed interest. He was a very caring governor. He was a switched on governor, but he was caring. And the most important thing was for his staff. Anyway, look, clock's ticking now.
Well, no, we're all right. We're all right. We're good to go. No, what I said about Chris Sheffield.
Chris Sheffield, that was it.
His name's just gone out of my head now. Who followed him?
Richard Vince. Yeah.
Them two fellas, Christmas Day. I'll tell you what. Last time I saw Chris Sheffield, you were in gym with Jono.
Right.
He come in. I was sat down having a brew with you, and he said, "All right to you two." He said, "All right, Miss Samworth," because he knew me because of bullying.
Right.
And when he walked out at gym,
yeah,
he just said, "Have you not got a razor, you Mr. Samworth," or something like that. But Christmas Day, he come in, shook everyone's hand, knew all the names. Richard Vince.
Yeah, well, that was his understudy.
His understudy, again, come in Christmas Day.
Yeah.
All the nursing staff, everybody who was at work that day, shook their hands, wished them a happy Christmas.
I mean, to be fair, that Richard Vince, he turned the prison around even more.
He did, yeah.
I mean, getting them on association activities, made sure that people were doing something. If you weren't doing anything, you stayed banged up. But he wanted them out themselves.
Of course he did. Purposeful activity.
That's right.
He encouraged, he was big on the numbers, going to work, education. Right, If they were 5 down on the maximum on day, he wanted to know why.
And he did, didn't he? Yeah, I remember that. But like I say, he used to have a bricklaying shop.
Yeah, bricklaying and plastering, it's my big beef, that.
Exactly.
Them lads could go out 5 ton.
That's right.
When they could lay bricks, and they could plaster, and they were shit hot shops then.
That's right, and they were, and like you say, if that shop wasn't full, you want to know why. Yeah. And he'd be ringing up the SO or the PO of the wing saying, "Listen, get someone to them shops because I want them out the cells purposeful activities." Yeah. And then it's all gone now. It's all gone.
Well, them 2 shops went for office space.
Jesus.
How much space do you need?
No.
To interview people, eh?
No. So yeah, I get back to PEI a little bit. So me and Stevie gets back to Manchester, and Jock was the gaffer there. I never forget, I knocked on his door, so Jock, can I have a word? He says, yeah, what's your problem? I says, Stevie told me he's got sponsorship. He says, aye, that's right, laddie, because he was Jock. I said, well, what about me? He said, listen, laddie, I don't want you in my department. I said, fucking hell, nice touch. So, cut a long story short, another sponsorship came up at Manchester, and Glenn said, you're in, get it. So that was it, that was the start of my career. We both went down to Lillyshaw, did our, whatever it were, 4.5 month, 5 month training. Absolute dream, absolute great bunch of...
Was it like a bit, alright, obviously you're grafting, but it was like a bit of a holiday career break that down.
Do you know what, it was, I found it intense, certainly, because anatomy and physiology was a big thing. I struggled on that. I'm a doer. Yeah, I'm.
You learn hands-on. I show you
learn-
how to do something, you do it rather than learning.
Kinesthetic, they call it, don't they? My missus says, you're kinesthetic, yeah? So what's that, Cock? She says, you're a doer, you get on with it. And I do.
Definitely.
But when you sat in a classroom, my head goes after a bit. And anatomy, physiology is all about the muscle groups and origins and insertions and whatever. I'm struggling because...
Yeah, but people won't think as a PI. I would have never thought... I would have thought you had to be a certain standard of fitness and that's it.
No.
You know, pass a test, like a selection or something.
We went down to Lillishore, we did basketball. You had to pass the basketball test. That was a written and practical test. I think the written test, if I remember, was about 3 hours. The pass rate was the pass mark was 55% and I got 56%. So I passed. You did gymnastics. That was a practical exam. Everything was an exam. The baller, that was a written and practical exam. The hardest part on that was the practical, because you had to do what's called a 2-hand snatch. What was the 2 exercises now? My head's going.
We're doing like
you do
clean and jerk and stuff like that.
Clean and jerk, you did clean and jerk and 2-hand snatch. But you had to do with a decent bit of weight on. But what they were looking at is your technique. They weren't looking at you could throw it above your head.
No.
They was looking at your technique, because you're going back to your establishment and you're teaching it.
So did you get coached on that down there?
Oh, but we got coached by Glyn, because Glyn was a baller instructor. So I learned everything through Glyn. I never forget it. At one stage before I went down there, I was doing a 2-hand snatch. I think a 2-hand snatch, so a clean and jerk, 20 kilo bar and 20 discs on each side. That's a lot of weight, that, for a 12.5 stone guy. And I could do it because it's all about technique. It's all what Glenn used to say. It's all about the weight arm and getting into that position, dropping under the bar. As the bar comes up, you're dropping under it. So I learnt all that, and we went down there and we did the course. And like I said, we did a football coaching course. We did basketball, we did hockey, we did them all, because you're going back. Because don't forget, there's females on this course who were going back to female establishments.
Yeah.
So it
weren't one course for one. You had to do. It covered everything.
You had to cover everything, and it was a pass or fail. But this is the funny bit. Steve, if he sees this, he'll laugh his head up and he'll tell you to this day how true it is. So I passed the written anatomy and physics. That anatomy.
Yeah. We know what you mean.
A&P exam. Jesus, Patrick. So we pass it, but we all pass it because we all open arms policy. That's what we used to say. Right, everybody, open arms, open arms. We're all like that, looking around, up on. Anyway, then you get your practical exam. And never forget it, this guy called Steve, not going to use his surname. No, was it Steve? Steve. Anyway, he's the instructor down there. My memory's gone. So we're down there. There's me and Stevie doing the practical exam. And he gives me a medicine ball. And he says to me, Stevie's acting as the inmate or the client. Right, Pat, what I want you to do now is give Stevie a non-weight bearing exercise. Now this is my practical for A&P. So I'm thinking, okay, no problem. So he asked Steve, throws the ball at him like that. So what's it for? He says it's for his left knee. I said, right, no problem. What I want you to do, Stephen, is put the ball on the floor, put your knee on it, your right knee, I just want you to stand up and down on it. And Stevie's looking at me like that, and I'm thinking, what's up with you, Stevie? His eyes are rolling. I said, crack on. So he's doing it like that. This guy's called John, he's just come in now. Oh, John Gormley, brilliant guy. He says, stop. Right, what I want you to do now then, Pat, I want you to give him a partial weight-bearing exercise for that knee. I says, right, no problem. So right, Steve, pick that medicine ball up. And what I want to do now is press it above your head, up and down, nice and easy, and see how you feel about it. And he starts laughing then, Stevie. And then your man, John, starts laughing his head off. I said, what are you laughing at, you two? He said, right, we're stopping now. He says, you failed. I said, well, what's all you? I said, that's all right. He said, Jesus Christ. He says, nothing about it is partial or non-weight bearing. I said, listen, lads, it's been one of them days, hasn't it? And he's leaving words to me. He said, listen, Pat, on a serious note is, you can't go into the field without passing this exam, this practical exam. I said, right, John. I said, that's not good, is it? He said, well, it's up to you, innit? So then, just before we was passing out, where my wife come down, stopped over, we had a lovely, tuxedos on and all that. They had, we had a proper sit-down meal. All the wives stayed overnight. good drink and whatever. Said our goodbyes to everybody. The day before, I had to do the exam again, and I had Stevie, and it was summer this time. I had him on the bed, so he says, right, what don't you do now? And it wasn't him; it was a female examiner. He says, right, what don't you do now is give me, tell me the origin insertions of the knee, and like that. Can we move on? Can we get back to that? And she's looking at me, and I think she don't know me, this woman. So she says, right, tell me the origin insertions of your gluteus or your bum. I says, can we get back to that? And Stevie's laughing, then he's giggling, because he knows I weren't getting it. She goes, right, you failed. So this guy gets me in again, says, Pat, you can't go into the field until you pass this exam. You'll have to come back. I said, no problem. I said, we're still having to do it tomorrow night. He said, oh yeah, you passed everything. You get biased, as it were. You got biased, but you got to come back. And you not get paid like that. I said, right, no problem with that. I'll be back. Well, 15 years later, I went back.
Really?
Yeah, fucking idiots. What am I going back there for? Go through all that. But
I was building up. I was waiting for a punchline then.
No, I never went back. I never went back.
Okay, come on.
But Sam, the thing was, I know now, if you said to me, right, do the A&P, learn it, I can learn it all because it's on my terms. But when you're down there, you're under so much pressure. Some people can just take it like that. Johnny, Shoeshine, awesome at stuff like that. Absolutely brilliant, could do it. I mean, he was the best in the department. And
the thing is, someone will probably correct me, but there's like 5 ways of learning, or 7. Yeah,
I think there's actually 3, but go on.
Well, like me, you and our
visual,
lass.
Yeah.
If I showed our lass how to physically showed her how to do something. Yeah. She'll
learn. Yeah, of course.
If she has to read off a sheet or look at an overhead, not a clue.
We're probably the most common people of learning like that. But like I say, some people have got that natural talent, and Johnny was one of them. Boom. Johnny was the most talented lad in that P department. Shoeshine. He could do. To me, for a good football, good in everything. But I'm not disrespecting, but his old jailcraft was shite. But we guided him, we helped him on that. Because we all helped each other. Yeah. Because we were strong characters.
That's what it's about, isn't it? You know, not everyone is a complete article, is there? It's like...
No. Well, no, they're not at Manchester. Nobody's the complete article. And if someone thought they were, they get told otherwise. But certain staff did certain things in that P department, and maybe thought, well, you can't do it. But I didn't give a shit, because what I did, I knew I was good at. And I got the best out of the job, what was put in front of me. And my most important thing is getting someone out of the inmates on a daily basis.
But you could see that, you know, like K-Wing Jim.
Yeah.
You know, for them don't know, big wing K-Wing, he had a not massive gym, but it was well-equipped gym.
It used to be a workshop, that.
Yeah, of course it were. It was oversubscribed, that, weren't it? It were pretty much always in...
The problem with K-Wing Gym, what I didn't like is, they might have changed it now, is you used to send them down, they come to the door, gym hall, they'd set their names, and they get changed in front of you, because what people don't understand is, when they come to the gym, they had to wear, Manchester anyway, P vests, P shorts, and they can wear their own trainers.
One size fits all, them shorts.
One size fits all. So you can imagine how some of them look. The vests are like, what, 100 degrees, steam cleaned or whatever it is. So they're all shrunk. But that was the policy at Manchester. You've got to wear prison vests and prison shorts. But what I didn't like is, and I thought it was wrong, they used to get changed in front of, because there's no changing facilities on K-Wing.
Oh, well, they were nothing, were they?
So that was taking their dignity away a little bit, and I didn't like that for them. And I remember many times I said, well, they need proper changing facilities. But what you couldn't functionally do is say, right, take your kit, go upstairs and get changed and come back again, because you couldn't physically do it, could you?
No.
But the lads just get changed dead quick, and away we went.
Well, it wouldn't have been inappropriate to come down in the gym wear, would it?
No.
However...
But the Pt2s did.
Exactly. Well, you know what? I once said that when someone were having a go at someone.
Yeah.
You know, who didn't know, they'd shout at Jim and he'd come down in shorts, and some officer ripping. I says, fucking Kt2s.
Yeah. But that's I think it was Jock who did that. He let the Kt2s trade in their own gear. And like we said, well, you just took something away from us.
That others haven't got.
That others haven't got. Nobody else in the gym.
No.
Don't forget, we had the main gym on the Croft.
Yeah.
We had the gym on K. We had a gym on every wing. We had a gym on the healthcare.
Yeah.
Your lads,
Yeah,
the
that
CV
little gym,
stuff.
yeah, it used to
And
get used as well.
They had to wear prison vest and shorts, and they did without no complaints. But because of jock sheds at Cathays, then that status for them just rises a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because we used to get a couple of the Asian fellas would come in, and they'd have the 3/4 shorts on. You say, "Whoa, what's going on here, lads?" "Well, we're not allowed to show our knees." So what do you mean not allowed to show your knees? "Well, it's in the Quran." I said, "Well, I'm not being fucking funny." I said, "Well, I've never heard of that one, but I'll find it out." Because we had a gym order, he was Asian.
Yeah.
A cracking lad from Oldham. I said, "What's the crack here with these?" He said, "Mr. C, they're pulling the wool over your eyes." I went, right, kid, not happening. Prison shorts or your own shorts, but you are showing your knees. Next thing, prison shorts. And we weren't being nasty, but obviously they were trying to think, well, we can dictate. And we had one lad down there who had tracksuit bottoms on once. Like I said, "Listen, you've got to wear shorts on." But he showed me, and he had gunshot wounds, and he said, "I've been by it." I said, "No problem, keep them on."
Exactly. Well, that's it, innit?
Yeah.
That is it. You know, you have your rules, and then you work around them or stuff, whatever.
But again, we finished the P course, we came back to Manchester, and I mean, everything else is history. It's like 16 years of being a PAI. Now, every day was different. Now, I always remember on inductions, I used to do inductions quite a lot up on G-Wing.
Yeah.
And I'd always go in and always be the last one in after everybody else had physio. And I said, "Lads, there'll be 20 lads in there, whatever." I said, "Is anybody in here who's not interested in physical activity or physical PE?" Couple of right, you can leave now. I'm not going to bore you to tears for the next 20 minutes. Go back to your doors, and off they went. And then I said to the lads, obviously the whole thing is being a PI, you've got your captive audience, and it works.
Yeah.
It's like being Queen on stage. You know, every time they come into your environment, into your gym, you've got that captive audience. And you know what? You thrive off it. I did, because it works.
Also, you tend to probably see the best of people as well, don't you? Because no one wants to be falling out with you guys, do they?
And they never did. And the barriers were always lower. That's the term. I know people say, "What do you mean lower?" Well, a lad might approach me and talk to me, and no, I said, "Listen, I'm not interested." I mean, he might be saying, "Oh, I've got problems." I said, "Well, yeah, what can I make a phone call?" But on the landings, you might turn and say, "Well, you've got to put an app in."
Yeah.
Or you got to do. But because they knew, I use the term, "Oh, we were approachable," as in if they got any issues or anything like that. And it was PEIs. I'll say we had that sense of aura around us, and a lot. I'm not saying all the staff, but all the normal jailers didn't like that.
Yeah, you see, things like that never bother me because...
No, they wouldn't, because you again, you was a straight bloke, you got on with it, but there was staff in that prison who think, "Fucking wank, who's he think he's walking around with shorts on, shades on?"
Oh, I'd just be envious.
Yeah,
I would be envious, especially in summer. Fucking hell.
But again, I don't use the word envy because it's not a nice word.
No. When I said that,
you mean in a nice way?
I wish I tell you what, if prison officers could have worn shorts, I'd have worn them all day, me.
Absolutely. I mean,
all day.
I used to take them on the AstroTurf playing cricket when it was like this. And I said, "Lads, take your tops off." And we'd play cricket. And I'd say I used to always get quite a couple of Asian lads because they're good at bloody cricket. And me and Steve used to play cricket with them out there and be out there all morning. And do you know what? It was an absolutely belting atmosphere because they were getting something they wanted. The barriers were lower. I weren't being straight with them.
No. Do you know, I know people who would have had a problem with that. Me, it's just like, it's a bit of a normality in a shit. It's like on healthcare. You know, we didn't have a proper exercise yard. You've seen that decking or whatever. But, you know, if they wanted to be out there 3 hours in sun, I was quite happy to stand there chatting to them or whatever.
See, it's like, again, it's like I said, when we do the induction, and we used to always use what I did, the first thing I said to them in induction, "Lads, we've got a couple of rules and you need to abide by them. If you don't abide by them, then things will change." I used to always say, "Rule 1, me and you, the PAIs, are always right." That's rule 1. Rule 2, if you for some unknown reason prove us wrong, then rule 1 will apply. And they look at you like that, and some will do what you just done because you strayed on it. Yeah. What's he on about, that fella? And then that was the old game plan. And then I said, "Right, lads, the other rule is if you get banned from the gym, if I said to you, you're banned from the gym, you're banned for life." "What do you mean?" "You're not getting back in." And then you've got lads who come from other jails, so "We can't do that, boss." I said, "Well, try it." I said, "We have an unwritten rule here at Manchester. If I ban you from the gym, you're not coming back in." Right. I said, but I'll be honest with you, lads. Do you know how many people are banned from the gym? 0. Because it doesn't work.
Yeah, they'd have to do something.
Really shit.
Yeah.
And we only had it once. We had a female PI, and this guy come in. He was his orientation around and what have you. We got him in the office. Said, listen, fella, you're not suitable or what have you. And it nearly kicked off. We nearly ended up dropping him, but we didn't. And then we banned him for life. But we've later found out that he'd done for rape. Well, I mean, it's some things like that. You've got to.
Yeah, of course you have. You have to get a grasp on it, don't you?
But like I said, they come to the gym. What people got to understand is when you came to the gym, it was a privilege. It wasn't
rights. You got rights and privileges. You're entitled to a bed. You're entitled to food.
Entitlement. That's the word. It was a privilege, not an entitlement.
Yeah.
So sometimes they come and say, "Well, I'm entitled to exercise." Of course you have some. That's walking around the yard for half an hour or for an hour, get your bowels moving. I said, but to come to the gym is a privilege, and to earn that, you've got to be an half decent lad on the wings. And when you're half decent, you come to us, because the first thing we'd always have is what's called recreational PE. So they come in, recreational PE, do a 10-minute warm-up, get on with your gym session, using the weights, indoor basketball, badminton, whatever they wanted to do. And now we take them back, get another class. That was recreational PE. Then what we had was called, we started running accredited courses. So there are things like your basketball courses.
Were they doing MVQs like?
MVQs, focus level 1 and 2, which is...
I've heard of them.
Yeah, well, they're quite high up. Andy used to run that, and Kevin, and they were very good at it. And that qualification, basically on the out, gives them a gym instructor's qualification. Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't for all that, because I thought just sticking a lad in a classroom, because that was a 6 to 8 week course. No, sorry, 6 to 8 weeks.
Was there no practical to it then?
Oh, it's practical, because I was learning to be a gym instructor, but a lot of it was classroom based. But I think it was a 6-month course, and a lot of lads got on that, because simply, if you're doing a 6-month course, that's a 12-month sentence. So you're doing all the course in Strangeways, you're local, you get put on hold, so you're not going anywhere, you get paid for coming to the gym, you get yourself fit, and you get yourself off them landings. And it was brilliant. And like I said as well, as you know...
Did that drop off, or did it keep going?
No, it kept it going, because it was a criteria. It was a big criteria in the PE department that you've got to teach accredited. Everything had to be accredited. Because when I first went in, it was nothing, it was just recreational. But it all started accredited, like I did the first aid in the workplace, and defib. I was teaching them defib. So that was a 6 to 8 week course. So they'd come off the focus and drop onto my course for 8 weeks. So they're doing that another 2 months, another 4 months off the sentence. But what I always found is the lads who come on my course, they loved it, they bounced off it, because that was all hands-on. You had a bit of classroom based, but it was hands-on. That was a life skill. Because if they got out or something happens, CPR, choking child, you know what I mean, bleeding, breaks, they learned and they wanted to learn.
You don't think that's something that like they could teach in schools?
All day.
Older kids?
I think first aid should be taught in every part of education environment, from being young in the primary school right up to the college. When kids are leaving secondary school, they should be walking out there as a first aid at work qualification and a defib, because that defib is the one that saves your lives.
Well, they've got them everywhere now, haven't they? Train stations,
but it should be
stuff like that.
Part of a qualification at secondary school, because trust me, it's a life skill. It never leaves you. And no disrespect to things like basketball or focus, they can learn it, but they might not take it with them further and get out. But first aid at work, any first aid type of course is a life skill, and you take it on with you in life, and it's absolutely brilliant. So that's what was happening. So these were running, you had recreational PE, and then like I said, we had accredited courses, so they were in compass with each other, so it worked, it was great. And then now and then I'd be saying, like, if I'm not running first aid course, can I go K-Wing, can I do Cat A, because I like the mixture. Like I said, Cat A's always, they were graft, because we always did a warm-up, 10-minute warm-up. So you said to, right lads, we're doing a 10-minute warm-up, here we go. But after about 3 minutes, like, stopping. They're doing, you talked about that fella.
Yeah.
What was he called? The Irish...
Sharp. Yeah.
He was horrible. He was there. Well, come on, Sharp, it's 10 peso. Well, not really, but I thought, well, give us 5. I weren't succumbing to him bullying me, but it was a case of just, right, get it done, lads, get in, crack on, because they only got it 3 times a week, but it was just a case of just get it done and crack on. Because you're Cat A, they've got that status like, well, who are you? But what I did find is when someone come off Cat A's, they come to us on a gym club, totally different blokes.
We used to get a lot of them on K-Wing. When they come off Cat A's, they come to K-Wing before they go to rest at jail. We had quite a few on healthcare. Orderlies
exactly.
and stuff like that. And again, you've got to wonder whether, on that unit, they have to sort of...
It's that status, isn't it? They've got to have that. I mean, I'm here because I'm a Cat A, I'm such and such a person, and I'm in the public domain, I'm in the press. But again, what happened to that guy who killed the police women? He had his 10 minutes of fame, and where is he now?
Well, do you know what?
He's in a mental health hospital, isn't he?
Well, he'll be back and forth between hospitals and prison.
He'll never get out.
Do you know what? No, he's never getting out, and But I hope he has a miserable existence. The thing is, always be looking on his shoulder.
But just 2 more stories because I know time's ticking.
No, you're fine. Crack on.
People think I'm blowing the pants out of them.
We're going to get you back for a question and answer because people are going to ask lots of questions and that.
Right. Well,
and we'll go back.
But
there's no rush, mate. You're good to go.
But I remember when I was running the first aid course, and I ran about 2 or 3 a year, and you said and they were saying with me like, so yeah, crack on. So I used to say, lads, what you must understand is we're doing a first aid course, but my most important thing in my day is we do a circuit. And they said, well, what do you mean? I said, well, on average, we're going to do a circuit every day. That circuit may entail 20 minutes, it may entail an hour and a half. Now, some of the PIs will question me and say, an hour and a half circuit? You can't, well, yeah, I can. I can do as long as I want, because you know why, Sam? I did it with them. So I would beast them.
You could judge it, yeah.
And I would beast him myself. And I used to have them in that gym, mate, and I set the circuit up the night before, and I get the orders in, set it all up, and it's like an hour to set it up. They come in the morning, and to be fair, say Kev or Andy said, can my lads jump on it? Yeah, get them on it. So I'd have 40 lads, and I'd have them eating at my hand. I said, right lads, here we go, 10 of each way, and boom, away we went. And if I was enjoying it, I was staying on it. And trust me, I had the music blasting, and they could never question me because I was doing it with them. So they could never say, yeah, you wanker. You can use that terminology, coaching and encourage. Yeah, I could do that now and then, but I wanted to do it with them because I want to get some benefit out of it.
Yeah, why not?
But you know what, Sam? I used to get them going, and I said, like the military, I'd be in the face, come on, you wanker, get another press up done. They just laugh at me. If I said that to my wing, I'd get chinned.
Possibly, yeah.
Honestly. And then what I would do, I said, right, and I'm probably blowing out my arse by this time. I said, right, lads, everybody on the yellow line, turn and face that way, jogging on the spot, knees up. So they'll be down on the spot. Yes, Mr. C. Right, hands in front on the guy's shoulders like that. So put the hands in front. Right, knees up, get them up a little bit slighter, a little bit higher, a little bit quicker. Like that, up. And that's what I'm doing. I'm like, up. And I had a CD, and they all know, and I've lost that CD, but I bet there's a con out there who'll remember that CD. And I put it on like that, and it was smashing them for about a minute and a half. And I'd be like that, up, get your knees up. And I'd be in the face. And these are big lads. And I said, listen, you piss fat. Oh, sorry. Listen, you Sheila. Get your knees up, else I'm bringing you off the course. Get them up. And it worked. None of them turned around and said, you what? I'm going to fill you in, boss. No, it worked because I was encouraging them, and they loved it. Because it was like I say, I'll use that term, the military aspect is controlled environment, and everybody was enjoying it. And I said, right, everybody down, press ups, and back up, and then as soon as that music started, back on the circuit. Then we finished, and I remember once back in the day, before we worked at it, I used to run them, take them out of the gym, run round the gym, outside, round the astroturf, where that hill is, up the astroturf.
Oh, yeah.
I used to have them running up and down that. You couldn't do it now. And then I'd bring them and say, right lads, great day, put all the weights away, get a shower, ready to go back. And do you know what? 20 of them come to office, Mr. C. Awesome. Absolutely, I'm knackered.
Yeah, but they need that sometimes, don't they, as well? They appreciate it.
They say, awesome. And I say, yeah, did you enjoy it? We'll do something else. So we'll do card circuit. I used to always do that with Stevie. Because I was knackered, to do card circuit, I knew I didn't have to do it. Because I had to flick cards out. But it was all about, you've got your blokes there, and it was getting the best out of them.
It's a bit of normality, that's what it is, Pat.
But
when they're in the gym, they're not in that prison environment, they can forget about things. you know, maybe what's going on, problems with the missus and that. It's a bit of...
Sam, it was an escape.
That's it. That's a good word, escape.
It was an escape. And we had a phone in the gym. Boss, can I use a phone? Crack on, son.
Yeah, exactly. Phones, I never had a problem with that.
And
anyway,
we had a control. It was right, lads, off the phone. We turned the phone off, and away they went. So, and it bloody worked. And it was so enjoyable. I loved it, I loved it because I was getting something out of it, and I felt proud of myself. And I know my colleagues felt proud because they'd jump on the circuit with me. I mean, we had one lad there, guy's ex-bootneck, Royal Marines. And he was ruthless with one. He was that like me, just beasted them. And then at Christmas, he used to do a circuit. Now, health and safety, well, I mean, you get thrown out of jail for it because of some of the stuff he did on it. But they loved it. They absolutely loved it. But it was a happy atmosphere.
Towards, you know, like 2:15 when it all changed in March.
Yeah.
Were you lads finding yourselves on wings and gym shut a lot? Or
No.
did they keep it open?
No, we were quite fortunate when I was in. I mean, like I said, I got out in 2016, but things hadn't... Everything was still the same as from 2001. I mean, cons were still coming to the gym. We was... I tell you what broke it a little bit. They introduced these CV rooms on the wings. So you had a running machine, you had a cross trainer. So that was taking our work away from us. I didn't agree with it because we weren't controlling it. But the powers that be wanted it.
A lot of them were just locked up all the time.
Well, yeah, that's right. But yeah, because they damaged the machinery. I remember I used to come onto on
it's
the
not a controlled environment, is it?
No, well, they're controlling themselves. So there was hiding stuff in there. I believe in one jail, they was getting the phones and they was taking the front off the treadmill and they was charging it with a wiring inside. They're clever, aren't they?
Yeah, of course.
But I remember once I going on to the healthcare centre and there was some kid on it, and I don't know if you were on duty or not. I said, Sam, he said, oh, there's only one. So I went down, I said to this kid, I said, right, what do you want? He said, I want treadmill, boss. And he wasn't...
Yeah.
I won't use the word right in the head, but you could tell he wasn't completely there. I said, right, well, just get on it, kid. I'll be back in 5 minutes, just go to the toilet. And I come back and he's on treadmill like that, and he's kicking it like that, pushing it. I said, what's up, son? He said, he said, I said, you all right there, cock? He said, all right. He says, it's bloody hard, this, boss. It's like going uphill. I says, I need plugging in first, kid. But you could tell he wasn't 100% in the head, and it was like...
No, I used to try and get him in. It was difficult because we didn't have staff, but try and get him to do stuff as much as possible.
Yeah.
But
again, you know, you talked about Tommy Joyce.
Yeah.
Our orders in the gym, in the main gym, they were all good lads, sound lads, and we hadn't picked up. It wasn't, you get a con and say, excuse me, boss, can I be a gym order? Well, who are you? Well, what are you about? We'll have a look at it. But we'll try and find out what they're about. Now, like I say, we say we hadn't picked up, we had lads of gym orders who could handle themselves. They didn't have to be a big lad, but they were well known.
I'll tell you who I got on well with. I didn't know him that well, but I got on well with him. We always had a chat. The lad you had who were part of Hells Angels.
Yeah, he was ex-bootneck, Royal Marines, part of the Hells Angel clan.
Yeah.
He was importing and distributing weapons all around the Northwest. Yeah. But what an absolutely lovely guy.
Always, he one of them lads, like Tommy Joyce, if he saw you, they'd acknowledge you. Yeah. You know, go out of the way, you all right, boss, have a bit of a chat or whatever. Every
gym order we had in that gym was a character. He was well known. He was well known in, you know what I mean, the criminal underworld on the outs. He had contacts, which is not do. But the way I looked at it is, if he's well known on the out, he's well known on the in, and nobody's going to give him shit. So if they're not going to give him shit, they're not going to give us shit.
No.
We had one lad from Wigan, proper Wiganer, sound as a pound, him and his brother, all right, Mr. C. And he was awesome. Big lad like yourself, but Cons loved him. And like I say, we had one lad, and I've seen him on a Matchroom Boxing, because my nephew's a boxer, and I've seen him there, MEN, in the corner. Apparently his dad was part of the Quality Street gang, and he's there in the corner. He's one of our gym orders. And you know what? He wasn't a big lad or anything. He's only 5'6", but he had something about him. And what I noticed, Con's always coming talking to him, and that's what we wanted.
Yeah, of course you know you want
because
that.
There were times where we'd have recreational PE, the Cons would come in, they'd have the gym session, and we'd all say, right lads, last 5 minutes, put your weights away, get a shower. Anyway, all they'd come in and say, Mr. C, they've not put the weights away. Right, leave it with me. You go back in, lads, put the weights away. And then you leave it then. Oh, they said, not doing it, boss. I said, right, do me a favour, you just go back into the tower room, do whatever you're doing, I'll sort it. So then they'd all come out and we say, right, just ready to take them back. I say, yeah, lads, just can I draw your attention for a minute? You've decided not to put your weights away because you're not that bothered. So when's it your gym again? They say, oh, this will be Monday. Wednesday, boss. You're not getting it. What do you mean we're not getting it? You can't put your weights away. I'm not coming collecting you. So that was your payback. And it worked, but it didn't happen that often.
No.
Or you set at gym orderly, who's not put his weights away? Well, I'm not going to bubble him, boss. Right, well, okay then. Well, we'll get it sorted. But I don't, like I say, we've never seen any fights in the gym. You know, I never seen one fight in that gym. You've got 50, 60 kilo dumbbells, 20 kilo Olympic bars. They'd bloody kill you.
Of course they would.
Young defenders will use them all day as a weapon, but they didn't. Do you know why? It was respect. Don't get me wrong, I've been many times in office and I hear where I'm like, hey, what's that noise? I said to my colleagues, you hear that? Yeah, what's that noise? Whoa, a minute. And then all they come and say, Mr. C, you just need to nip in shower. Right, what's happening, kid? So I go in the shower, like, and there'll be someone there full of claret, blood all over. I said, right, what's going on here? Oh, I've slipped. Have you? Have you done that? Well, I've slipped in the shower. Well, give me a minute, I'm first aid trained, so I'll go and get a first aid box, we'll clean you up, take you to healthcare. Do you want to report? No, I slipped. Well, has he slipped? I don't know. But it got sorted. And I mean, I've heard people like you say, dynamic security. I always remember we used to do one weekend in free, and my weekend on, I was on with Stevie and Phil. I used meet Mrs. Go to the supermarket here and get bacon, egg, whatever, and I cook my orderlies, 5 of them, a full breakfast.
There you go.
Every Sunday.
There you go.
That's right, when I was on. Cook them, there you go, brown sauce, and I watch them eat. And I actually took a little bit of pride and joy out of that, because they'd never had that for months on end. Full breakfast, and they're wiping it up with a toast, eating Mr. C, and I always have them from Wigan. The only thing he's missing is fried bread. I say, right, no worries, Tommy. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, it gets back 5-6 years down the line, you can't do them a cooked breakfast in the gym anymore. Why not? Well, it's not the right thing to do. Oh, well, fuck it then, we can't do it. And we couldn't. But what I would do, if I went out at dinner time, which I always went out at weekend, I'd go to Hampson's and get 10 donuts, creamy donuts, bring them back and just put them on toast. Yeah, lads, help yourselves. And it works. But what you remember is then, lads, I could see with them gym orderlies respected us more than they respected some of the inmates.
Of course they will. Of course they will. Well,
but
yeah.
Like you said with Tommy, he knew we were getting something out of you. They're clever. If you
are, but equally, like I've said, if I were on landing with the officer we were talking about earlier, who's an absolute dog, yeah, then Tommy would be like, Mr. S, would you just help this lad with this? He won't bother with other officers. So they weren't stupid in that way.
Plus, if I was getting set upon, which never happened in the gym, if I was getting set upon, I know them lads would help me.
Ben, if you watch this, told you when I were at Forest Bank, 2 lads, Den and Ben, saved me from getting a rate kick in.
There you go.
So he messaged the other day, a mate of his I were talking to, he says, do you know this guy, Ben? I says, of course I fucking do.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much, mate.
I never felt in fear for my life once in the gym, but I always said to myself, if it ever did kick off, I know them lads will say, you don't touch your PIs. You don't touch them, because they're sound guys.
Yeah.
And we looked after them. And again, another thing we used to do, if you get a gym order and say, Mr. C, I'm on a visit this afternoon, my missus up with kids, can you visit? No worries. Do us a favour, give him a 2-hour visit this afternoon. No problem, Pat. Boom, phone there. But then I've had it, I've rang, no he's not, he's only having an hour. I think, what's up?
It depends who's on the other end of the phone. They used to do it on healthcare with orderlies, you know, because they were good lads as well, they grafted.
Yeah.
Exactly the same, mate.
The one story I have to tell you, because I think I owe it him, is when I was running the first aid course, and we're getting to the end now, is I was running the course, and we used to obviously do classroom based work. So I'm up there with a PowerPoint, writing stuff on this, what they called the whiteboard or whatever it's called, smart board.
Yeah.
Using special pens, not crayons, and I'm writing stuff down. I've got all these lads on the course, And I've got a guy on the course called Gordon Parks. Now, Gordon Parks, if people ever Google his name, he was known for what's called the Lady of the Lake.
I've talked about him.
And I'll use his name because the gentleman, I'll use the terminology, he's a gentleman, he's dead now, God rest his soul. And I was upset when he committed suicide. But what I'm saying is Gordon was part of my course. He said to me, Mr. Cullen, can I come on your first aid course? And he'd been lifed off. I said, Gordon, you're doing life, mate. What do you want to come on my course for? Mr. Cullen, I'm going to win my appeal. I said, do you think so? He said, think so? I know so. But he's a school teacher. So he was an educated man. So I gets him on the course, and I always remember when he used to train, all he did was go on the cross trainer. He'd close his eyes and his sweat used to be pouring off him. And I go over, I said, Gordon, is everything okay? Everything's fine. I said, why'd you close your eyes? He said, I'm thinking of my freedom. I said, good man, Gordon, so come away. Anyway, we're in the classroom one day, and I'm writing my stuff down, and whatever it might be, Dr. Sab and stuff like that, whatever I'm writing down. He goes, Mr. Cullen. I said, yes, Gordon. And don't forget, there's 20 odd inmates in here, in this classroom. Your grammar is absolutely terrible. I said, beg your pardon. He says, that is absolutely terrible. I said, well, I'll tell you what, Gordon, you get yourself up here, I'll say it, you scribe it. What did he do? He's up. Blah, 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 blah. Cons, loving it. They didn't take offence to him.
No.
He was a gentleman.
All the lads on Sea Wing, you know, and a lot of other lads around the jail said that out of everyone they'd ever met, if anyone was innocent, it was him. Well,
I believe, don't quote me on it, there's new evidence appeared, and there's obviously chinks in the armour on it, as in he could get proven not guilty. Can you imagine that?
He never went guilty, did he? He never went guilty.
He went not guilty. And I always remember him telling me, he says, Mr. Cullen, do you know what they used evidence against me? I said, oh, what was it? He says, well, when they knocked on my door, I think she'd been missing 20 years, his ex-wife, and I think in them days, they couldn't charge you for murder unless there was a body.
Yeah, they would never find the body, had they?
Never found the body, but they found the body, and that's when they came back. And they knocked on his door, went in the front room because his son opened it, because he'd been married and got on with his life. And the police said to him, Mr. Parks, we're here to arrest you for the murder of your blah, blah, blah. And his response were, oh dear. And they went, I beg your pardon. He went, oh dear. Well, they used that as evidence against him. His response. Well, to be fair, my missus has been gone for 20 years. They found her under the lake. I was saying, oh dear, what's that?
Well, exactly.
How did she end up under there? Down there, like, but that was it. But again, going back to where I am with Gordon in the classroom, I'm using Gordon all the time, but brilliant, superb. Next thing, I get summons to the office because I'm getting a bollocking, because I'm exploitation of Gordon. The education department have found out about it, and I'm getting told you can't do that, and if you do that again, you're going to get disciplined. I said, listen, I'm not exploited in 1 minute. He said he volunteered to do it. He's an interested guy, and whatever. And
his grammar's better than mine.
Oh, his grammar's better than mine. And they're like, well, you don't do it. They didn't like it. The education department absolutely blew a stink about it. Because education used to come over once a week and teach the lads on the focus course maths and English, different levels. But we had to sit in with them, because I was always a female. I never remember them being a male. But some of the ladies, they were ex-school teachers or whatever, they were very good. But some of them were shit. I just think you're stealing money. Actually stealing money, but we couldn't question that.
No, of course you can't.
But we were sat there for the security reasons. And I see lads fall asleep or whatever, and I'm on my way out sometime, but I never pull them, because I think, well, they're bored. But it was part of the criteria of doing the focus. You had to do education. So, but yeah, I mean, but what I will say again, I don't know if I said it early on. All them lads in that and ladies in that P department were all strong characters, but that's what made it. We all had our not always, but we had our differences at times. But we all got on well, and what we did, we put it together. And it was a happy place to work.
Do you think it's because you got a shared interest?
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, with the physical side of it and your sport and everything else.
Yeah, everything. I mean, you had a bit more autonomy as well. You could say things, say, well, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's right. Well, you with certain things with your SOPO, they say, well, this is the way it is.
Well, for me, that's always been the problem.
Yeah.
That's why I knock back promotion, me, because it's not about being your own person, is it? And managing things and having an opinion.
Yeah.
If it definitely comes down, doesn't it?
It does.
I've known a governor, PO, SO be wrong, but if you're at bottom and you're right, you're always wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Kenty was like that. I remember Kenty, he was a very educated guy. He said as it was, but what come out of his mouth was right. And I once said to her, I said, Kenty, why don't you go on POA, which was the union?
Yeah.
He said, why? I said, well, you switched on, you know your stuff. He said, Pat, I'm uncorruptive. And he was right. He said, because on that POA, as you say, they're all corrupt.
In Strangeways, it seemed to me like it was very passive movement, weren't it? They come and tell you things, but they would advise you always to go with management. Well,
when I was leaving, a POA rep, he was all right with me, to be honest with you. Smithy was bang on, he looked out for me, and everything worked out purposely and positively for me. So, but I think what Kent was just talking about in general. But just going back to Glenn, because I have to, because he was a brilliant fella. Every morning, because in them days you could go to work any time. Well, Glenn used to be in the office at 5 o'clock in the morning. So you could go anytime you want. And when you walked in, he was sat there reading his books, and he read all the time. I think of Charles Dickens, that's what he used to read.
Oh, yeah.
Charles Dickens. He's reading like that. As soon as we all walked in, because we're all noisy, close the book, say, right, what we're going to talk about today. And like I say, all them guys in that department, we all brought something to the table. And that's what made it. And we all looked after each other. Like I said, we're strong characters. Some of us, we didn't agree on certain things and other things, but we were all together as a team.
Goodness, I think the key thing is you're all pulling in the same direction.
Absolutely. And if one of us got kicked, we all limped. And
whereas it don't happen like that in a lot of other places in prison, does it?
Oh, and just finishing off, I remember we used to get a phone call off the landing, such and such a body's being awkward, he's kicking off. Right, he's on your P course, I want him kicked off. I said, well, I'll tell you what, send him over and we'll have a chat. And he'd come over, say, right, what's going on? He'd probably give you his part of the story, but there's always two parts of the story.
Yep.
And we just said to him directly, if you do it again tomorrow, it carries on, you're off the gym course, so you make your mind up. And 9 times out of 10, he knuckled down when he went back to landings.
Yeah.
I remember once, me and John was walking through reception, and this con was kicking off. He called Mac. Big lad, solid lad, hard as nails, Manchester lad, kicking off big time. But this reception officer, he wound him up, big time. And you could tell as soon as you open that door, he's kicking someone's head in. So we could hear all this kicking going off. So we went to talk to a couple of guys on reception, the officers, what's going on. I said, well, he's doing there. Well, let us go and have a chat with him. Well, it's up to you. So I went up, and Mac sees you at uniform. Can we have a chat? Yeah, come in. De-escalated it. You're getting shipped out. You knew we were getting shipped out.
Yeah.
But we de-escalated it.
All day for that, me.
Because all it'd have been, if we hadn't done that, the bell would have got off, and I mean, staff would have been in. He's a big lad. Someone might have got hurt.
There would have been some staff looking at you like, who the fuck do you think you are, though?
Well,
wouldn't it? For me, all day for that. You know, if someone's got a rapport with someone, you're not getting on or whatever. Yeah. That's what I've said about a lot of people. They don't all have to be like fighters, do they?
Do you know what, Sam? Finishing off, talk about nickings. You have to do nickings on the landing because obviously someone might talk to you in an aggressive way or might assault you.
Placing people on report, where they can get punishment for various things.
For 15 years, working in that gymnasium at Strangeways, I never nicked anybody. I had no reason to nick anybody. I never actually went on adjudication, sat there in front of a governor and said, I'm nicking him for this. But what I did, I banned a couple on one hand, maybe 2 or 3, but I banned them for life. And that was it. And it worked. And like I say, we never got any bother in the gym because they come in there because they want something. And you think about it, they come, they're full of testosterone, they get rid of it, they go back, they fall asleep. So it's good for the wing staff. And it's good for us because it's... I don't know if you'll agree with me, but I'll say at times we kept a lid on that place. Not directly, but when they come to the gym, they might be having a bad day or they might be a meathead, just a meathead who's a nasty, aggressive bastard. But he comes, does his gym session, he thinks, right, I've toned down now, I'll just go back and have my dinner. Who knows, people might have different views on it.
Well, a lot of us wouldn't see it, would we? Like on
You don't see
healthcare,
it.
I wouldn't see any of that, would I?
But the thing is, again, when it came to staff and PAI's relationships, we're brilliant, 99%. Because don't forget your staff fitness testing. So they would come to us and listen, Pat, I've got my fitness test next week. Right, what are you gonna struggle on? Obviously, shuttle
Bleep
run,
test, yeah.
the bleep test. So you try and help them get them through it. But then you get the odd one or two who come, done nothing, fail it. They come and knock on the door and say, listen, I failed. Well, what are you coming here for? You should have been here weeks ago. You know it's coming. You've got to do it every year. But you try and help them. But me personally, I had an excellent relationship with all staff. If there were staff I didn't like, I never took them on, Sam.
No, well, there's no percentage, is there?
Nothing. They never.
If you're in gym, you know, why bother causing you grief when you don't? Well, that obviously on landings and that was my problem a little bit, because sometimes it comes to head, doesn't it?
Of course it does, and I used to do the PP, which is the overtime, go on the landings, and you know, after a main shift on the landings, I was drained, and I thought, I'm glad I'm not doing this anymore.
Could you, if you hadn't got a chance to be a PI, would you been out?
I'd have gone within 4 years. Like I said, we had that incident with that guy who was corrupt, and everything about the jail, it was still bit dark ages, and there's no motivation in the job. I'm a doer, and I like to work, and I'm still doing that to this day. I've always had. I'll do it to the day I die, and it's like, well, don't change that framework, Patrick. Keep at it. Always be doing it, because if you want to be like them, you're just going to turn into, I mean, a non-entity.
It's the negativity, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Do you know what we're looking now? Because I've never really thought about your job a lot. I certainly didn't realise you had to do then as much as you did.
Yeah.
But
you're still going to go on a course now. You're still going to go to Lillishall. I don't know how long it's for, but it's nothing like what we had to do.
Well, nothing's the same anymore, is it? But I'm thinking myself that I've always said in that job for me, you know, the negativity is hard to deal with, because none of the prisoners want to be there.
No.
Most of the staff don't want to be there.
No.
However, perhaps your environment is one of the...
It's the best.
It's the only positive environment. Other than visits all, maybe.
No,
positive.
no. That gymnasium is ultimate place to be. It's where I walked into work every day with a spring in my step, thinking today's going to be a good day. And like I say, if I was in the prison now, like the lads will be there now, and the girls, they'll have the trainers on, they'll have the shorts on, I mean, t-shirt on, baseball, thinking, I'm getting paid for this. And it's that old cliche, I'm a PI, but I was proud to be a PI. I was proud to serve 15 years in that prison as a PI and delivering something positive what an inmate could get out of it. And my colleagues, and coming away every night and thinking, I've had a good day today, I loved it. So if there's people out there who's thinking, I want to join the service, and we haven't had negativity about the new staff or whatever, if you're going to join, maybe in your into sport, look at becoming a PI, because it's an awesome job and it's what you make of it. I mean, sometimes you'd have a PI come in and he won't do anything. I mean, he won't set up a circuit, wouldn't, but that weren't me. That was up to them. I would say, let's get the circuit done, let's get it smashed.
You had to, so do you think that was part of it, well, that you could do that how you wanted?
I could do what I wanted in PE. That's how it was. And that's not being big-headed, but I had them lads, excuse me, eating out the palm of my hands. I was on stage, and here we go, let's start the concert.
Did they know what were coming or not?
Cool, more than 9 times out of 10, yeah. Especially if it's on the gym course, I said, right, lads, you're on my first aid course, and what we're going to be doing is a circuit more or less every day before we even start the actual course.
Were they there all day?
Well, they come in the morning and they come in the afternoon, so they got paid for it.
They're getting gym every day.
They got gym every day. They got paid for being on the course. They got gym every day. They got them off them shitty landings. You know what I mean? They took them out of an environment where they were thinking, I'm locked up.
Yeah.
Food for thought. I don't have to think about home and the family as much. There's a phone there. You can use the phone off the wall, and they were treated with respect and dignity by us, but we got it back. And you'd always have a laugh and joke with them. And that sometimes the laugh and joke was a little bit to the bone, and you just like back off. But again, We
That's
got
it,
away
is
with
what it is, isn't it? They're in different worlds to
Yeah.
us sometimes.
And I hope I'm not bored people.
You want to bore people? Can I
listen
just,
to it. Well,
you know, we'll ask people to put comments and that and questions, and you will look at job different to me. There's things that I'd like to come back and ask you about aspects at job. You know, maybe have a think about it. Not the job as a PEI.
No, the aspects.
how you saw, like compare how I see the job to how you saw it. But I am interested to know, you know, like the old American prison system.
yeah.
Where they used to have all the Olympic
Chain
weights
gang,
on the yards and that.
Yeah. Well, that happened, didn't it?
What are your thoughts on that? Because some people might say, you know, they shouldn't. We know about gym being positive, but about having Olympic weights, other circuits and stuff like that. Or do you not have any thoughts on that?
Well, now you brought it up, I would say, yeah, introduce it. Introduce it because introduce it, but again, it's the environment they're doing it in. So if you want to put weights on an exercise yard, it's all health and safety. England's mad with health and safety, isn't it? It's not like that in America.
It's got to be controlled
It's
environment.
got to be controlled. So how are you going to do it? You're going to need more PEIs. You're going to have the safe working environment, type of equipment and what have you. Yeah, I'll probably use the term, it won't work. But what you could have is you see them on the parks where you can pull-ups, dips.
Yeah, the wooden frames and stuff like that.
You could have that, yeah. But yeah, absolutely, you could have that. And I'm sure they have that in certain prisons. I'm just trying to figure we had them at Manchester.
I'd like to see what sort of facilities they had at Berwyn.
Is that the new one in Wales?
Yeah, the one. Well, 218 that were built, but I'd like to have a tour and see what that prison were built like.
Yeah, but I mean, again, people what they won't actually understand is if you went into Manchester prison, you went into the gymnasium, the facilities they've got there, you won't even get that out here.
No, it was a good gym. You could.
It was awesome. You had a full-size weights room with every weights you can name. You had all the resistance machines. Next door, you then had spinning bikes. You had a full-size basketball court. Excuse me, which turned into 3 badminton courts. Outside, you had a 3/4 size AstroTurf, which I remember Stevie was telling me it's going to turn into, what is it, 4G, which is the proper what they use now, like at United and whatever.
Oh yeah.
So it's proper all weather. I mean, the stuff we had there, it was proper getting. Well, I think it was a bit
beyond its sell by date.
Outdated, mate. It's a bit US, but. I remember we had a kid from the Congo, this is going off a bit, and we used to check them out, Steve used to check them out every Saturday playing football, and I used to go out, and this was proper football, this. I think there were bets involved, that's how intense it got. But we were playing, me and Steve, so I'd have my team, here that is, and this kid from the Congo used to slide tackle everybody, rip his skin to bits, but he was hard as nails.
Well, it's like South African rugby players, isn't it?
They used to say, we can't slide tackle. I said, yeah, crack on for me. I slide tackle when I was a kid. But the atmosphere was awesome, playing football on a Saturday afternoon, a Saturday morning. I mean, we was out there, and it was like, I think at weekends we was only meant to bring 30 over to the gym, because only a few of us in the gym. We was bring 50. Why? Because we knew they weren't going to kick off.
Yeah.
I mean, people say, well, you can't say that. Well, I can, because...
Well, you do get. No, I agree with you. You do get a feeling of things, though, don't you? You know, certain individuals, although they might be.
Something happened once. I wasn't there. I think it might have been Gary or something. You'd take them out for football at weekend, and there were different lads who normally rack up. Next thing, tennis balls were coming over. These tennis balls were hitting the AstroTurf, but they weren't bouncing. They were full of jugs, weren't they? Fun. Hats off to Gary. Right, you've got them. Boom, boom, boom. They got them all back. Because otherwise all the rest would.
Oh yeah, peer pressure, that, innit?
They'd all have been banned from the gym. So yeah, it was great days, great times. I loved every minute of it.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So that's really it, Sam. I can't really.
Would you be happy to come back? Questions?
Listen, I'll come back anytime. I come back if there's an inmate sat here, an ex-inmate, who was on the gym course and he might put to me were my negativity, our negativity from the gym. You know what I mean? And I'll sit and listen to it all day. I'm not in the prison service anymore. Yeah. I'm not perfect. I never chose to be. But again, I'm always open to criticism, and it'd be good to hear. But the prison service.
I think I think you'll get a lot of comments
Oh, of course we will, but
from
again,
lads, Mr. Cullen, top man, and all that. So I doubt very much there'll be any negativity.
I'd be wondering why. If someone says, yeah, he was a wanker, he was this and that, I'd say, well, why? What did I do to upset you?
You beasted us.
Of course I did. And I use that word, beasting people, so you can't use that word. Well, yeah, I've just used it, because that's what it was.
Yeah, of course.
Some of them lads used to be sick. They used to say, Mr. C, I need to go to the toilet. I said, what for? And he'd be sick. Well, crack on and get yourself back in. And they did. They ran out. They were sick. Come back. Or they said, boss, can I go and get a drink of water? Yeah, get back in, back in. But then you just get the odd one or two be doing it, and they just bail out. And I said, that's you done then, innit, kid? Yeah, I'm done, boss. Not coming back. No problem. And I did have a reputation.
Many? Not.
At the beginning. Because it was all new to them.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't smash it straight away, but I built up and I built. And there were times, don't get me wrong, I thought, Jesus, Patrick, you're on your arse here, mate. You're on your chin straps. And I've been going 2 hours with them. And I was wet through. But I thought, I'm enjoying it. And I thought, well, these lot, they're not kicking off. So we just got on with it. But I wouldn't do that every day. But when I did the card circuit, me and Stevie, it was like, a diamonds was press-ups, a spade was squat thrust, an art was burpees, a joker was burpees with an extension. I don't know if you've ever done that.
Yeah.
The bloody graph. And I said, right, gentlemen, how many cards are in a pack? 52, boss. Happy days. Here we go, Stevie. Give Stevie half.
Would you do full 52?
50, I'd have half, and he'd have half. So I said, right, lads, 10 of diamonds, 10 pesos. So the other end of the sports hall, they run towards me and Stevie, and it's on a big blackboard, we've written it down, what it were. 10 of diamonds, 10 pesos. Out you come, bubble 10, right, back to the line. Stevie, boom, Stevie. 6 of clubs, 6 burpees, and they come out. And the next thing, they got them going, I go, it's a joker. Out you come, 20 burpees. So they come and do it, and then they get back on, and they were blowing, don't get me wrong, and we were dictating it. And then Stephen have a joker, and then halfway through, it's another joker. And then you get the odd one or two, yeah, gonna be boss. There's only 2 jokers in a pack. I said, whoa, whose pack is it? Whose pack is it? I mean, whose session is it? You can leave, but not be coming back. And just got on with it. And you even say to each other, just get on with it.
You know what? It's nice.
Fun.
It's nice that it's nice for me to see a different side at job as well, because you know I'm not thinking down your sort of.
But they were, like I say, they were good staff, POs, SOs, jailers, even governors who appreciated what we did because they knew what we did. They knew what we did, and we kept a lid on it. It was like, I remember one lad came in. He was a big, thick set lad. He was a bodybuilder, and he had a bit of a captive audience. And we sat there, and because we sat on the table, and I always remember Gary, brilliant what he did. He made a bit of a stage for us. So you put the table on there and the chairs, and we sat, and she's a little bit above them.
Yeah.
So you could see everything. Cracking idea. Anyway, this guy's were doing the flies, and next thing I could 55 kilo dumbbell, smashing to the floor. I went, come here, cock, let's have a word. He comes over, in meeting, and you could see them all looking over. I took him his head. I said, there's a bit of a problem there. He said, what's up with you? To me, I said, well, if you can't put them down, don't pick them up. He's like, what do you mean? I said, well, you can't put them down, can you? And you're going to break them. So don't pick them up. Or if you do it again, you're barred. And that's these, if you get barred, you don't get back in. Anyway, he'd go off, do what he's doing, obviously chomping, chewing. In reality, out here, fill me in. I mean, he squeezed my head like a spot. But, end the gym session, get a shower, on door. Can I have a word, boss? Yeah, you're alright, son. Yeah, I just want to apologise about that.
There you go.
No problem, son. You just, I mean, if you break it, you've got to replace them. So, you know, you leave it out, kid. And that was it, done.
Are you happy then?
I'm happy. I've enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed your company, Sam and Avant. And
brought me a butty and a bottle of water. It's getting to be a bit of a thing.
I've drank all his water.
No, that's right, that.
Oh, look at them buggers. What?
Mr. Cullen, Patrick.
Always stay hydrated.
Yeah. I'd like to thank him for coming. Any questions? Anything to do with the prison service? Because like I said, Patrick will have different opinions to me. Been a pleasure.
Yeah, and just although he said any questions, when he just get a con comes, he said, boss, can I ask you a question? And our reply was, is it on PE? What do you mean? well, is anything to do with PE? Because if not, I'm not interested.
However, you might well answer the odd question.
Yeah, anyway. All right, guys.
Thanks for coming.
Enjoy your day.
I'll see you.
Right, Sam. I better get going.